It was so busy and noisy upstairs at the Black Star. I'm moving around here. I'm up here talking like I should be videotaping. And so I had to come out here. It's still noisy out here on King Drive.
Right.
But encourage the mothers, especially the mothers. We know the fathers are absent. Men are still, we're big babies, you know that. We don't mature to be like 35 years old. You know what I'm saying? And we still act like kids. I'm 50.
That's what I'm saying.
You should ask my wife. I'm 51-year-old big old kid. You see me clown at home, bro. I'm as silly as I want to be.
Boys, I could tell there's a difference.
But you have 11. You have 11. I'm 40 years older than your son. So I still act like 11-year-old half the time, right? I say that because the onus is on the women.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. It's onus on. So how do we get more women to really get involved in their children's education? I mean, really, and don't be intimidated. Everybody's not gonna go to Harvard and Yale.
Right. That's
but
true.
you got to be more involved. What you think, Francis? Go right here. Anything. Go ahead.
Just by starting to do it, you know, to change habits, it starts by just doing it. You know, if you can't sit down 3 or 4 hours with your child. Sit down 15 minutes with their homework at night. You can't make every meeting at school. Make every other meeting. But you should pick up report cards every time.
But shouldn't parents should not wait for a report card day or grades day?
No,
the first week of school.
They should know the teacher. They should have the teacher's email address as well as her phone number, and the teacher should have theirs, and they should open that line of communication because a lot of teachers don't approach parents because parents aren't approachable. They don't want to hear what their child is not doing.
Yeah.
Let the teacher know that you're that parent who wants to know that you're vested in your child's education, and you want that communication. Right.
Francis, do you think that some teachers do they really want to communicate with some parents? Some don't. Go ahead, Francis. Now gotta go. Natasha.
That's part of their job.
They hate to do.
That's their job. I don't care if you want to, you have to. Yeah.
So Natasha, parents should not be intimidated by the teacher.
Of course not. They shouldn't. But I think in general, laying the foundation at home from the beginning, once you find out that you're going to become a parent, is the most important thing that you can do. Is to understand the importance of the responsibility, and that it's not just about materialistic things, being able to buy your children things or being able to, dote that you have them, but to be able to put in that work from the beginning, whether it's, connecting with other parents who are positive, who add value to your life and to your children, to reaching out to, getting resources and assistance to help create an atmosphere for your child that's supportive and encouraging.
Natasha, how does a parent feel good about themselves when they haven't been a good parent? And all they say, I really ain't been there. I've been watching too much television. Right. All of a sudden they're gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna meet the teacher. I'm gonna make sure my children do their homework, go to bed at a decent time. But how do they break that habit, that old habit of just being indifferent, being an indifferent parent?
I mean, it's hard if that's the case. Again, I think parents like Francis and I and the other ones who I believe are great parents, we have to just start modeling the behavior that we want in our communities. We have to be more out there and showing parents that there are good parents. There are good black parents that are doing their thing, females, males, and we need to, be out in the forefront, and maybe they can learn something or see that it's possible.
Because everybody can't get, Francis, you agree, every student can't get straight A's.
No.
For whatever reason.
No.
But, like I say on my TV show, D's and F's are unacceptable.
Exactly.
How does a parent really accept? I know we know why, they're by the grace of God, go my behind. I understand that. But the point is that parents should say, you know what, they may not be straight A's, but at least straight C's.
Exactly. And I have a son that I struggle with that. He said, if I get a D, I'm straight. No, you're not. A D only says you didn't fail. And he's smart, so he's capable of doing so much more. I don't expect him to get straight A's. I have daughters that I expect to get A's and B's on.
Wait. You said your daughters get A's and B's, but not your sons?
Right, but I have a son
you ain't gonna go there.
but I
okay,
do have
go,
a son that
come on
gets
with
A's
it.
and B's. But I have one that I know he's not going to get A's and B's.
Some people,
not straight A's
it's not their thing. It's not their thing to get straight A's.
But he got some other things going on. But D's are unacceptable. Like
D's are unacceptable. I mean, I can't stress that enough. How we get parents, that's something we got to really... I don't want to embarrass people, make them feel bad, but D's and F. Okay, you want to embarrass some parents? Go ahead.
With this, I believe that all our children have the capability and possibility to be A students. So that's that. But it doesn't mean that if they didn't get the A, that they're not accomplished in other areas. you know. And so we have to, again, it's about identifying what our child's personal strengths are and cultivating it, but also, you know, raising our standards. You know, I mean,
Exactly.
it's like I'm not, a D is not good, a C is not good, a B, I want you to get an A, because that's where you start. If you start at the top, then you might get a C, but at least you started at the top and you tried your best.
But getting the A's,
But
you got to be the habit. Getting the A is a habit,
Yeah,
isn't it?
and I kind of agree and disagree with that as well.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Some people are not, I don't care how you put it, and
Yeah.
I'm speaking from the standpoint of a mother that has a lot of children.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I know children are all different.
See,
And if you-
Francis, you got what, 10?
10.
Total 13?
Yes.
I just have 3.
You got 3. No offense. No offense. Go right
if
ahead,
you
Francis.
See, it's to me, it's finding that, setting the bar
It is.
where
Yeah.
the child can reach. If you
Right.
put things out of their reach, then you're setting up for failure also, because they'll feel like failures if they, you know, and then that wears on your self-esteem, and it wears on your energy to even, you're reaching for something that you're not capable of getting. And I'm not saying everybody is, but we're all in different states and dealing with different issues. So realistically, you know, you try to give your child something to reach for that you know,
That's personal to
realistically,
them.
yeah, that's personal for
Yeah,
them.
well, Francis, I don't want to beat women up too bad on this show, because I'm doing it on other shows. But some ladies, some women, they let, and mothers and grandmothers, they let their son or their daughter, especially the sons, come home from school and go out and play until 10 o'clock at night or whatever. What's that all about? Is that a cultural piece? What do you think?
You know what? I think people get tired. You know,
Yeah.
we were talking about. We're talking about how do you encourage yourself.
Yeah.
First of all, you have to give yourself a break, and you have to forgive yourself, because you know, like I said, as a mother of a lot of children, I tell people I'm not the best mother in the world, but I'm not the worst. So you have to give yourself credit for doing the best that you can, and when you can encourage yourself and feel better about yourself, you're in a better position to encourage your child. We you know, we're beat down people, but most of what has happened to us is not our fault. So we have to forgive ourselves and forgive each other and encourage ourselves, because we are doing the best that we can. A
Yeah,
lot of
but
us
we
are.
can do so much.
Oh, we
can do so much
we
better.
could.
And that's where I'm at. I believe we can do so
Yeah,
much
we can do
better.
so much better.
And that's why I say we have to raise our standards, and not to say that we want to, you know, make it to the point where people don't feel like they can reach it, so therefore, you know, their self-esteem is low, but to just give them something, like let them know it's here. You can do it. And I feel like as a people, we lower our standards so much, and this is what we get as a result.
I think we don't know. I'm sorry, cutting you off. I think we don't know no better. I think Dunbar's down the street, way
Yeah.
behind you, right?
It is.
But a lot of us never. I only went to Whitney Young one time for open house. I was blown away. A lot of us haven't seen the best.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't
They
see how
haven't.
good it could be. We used to
Yeah.
mediocrity. I can't say that word. You know, we used to be an average.
Yeah.
And so we haven't seen above average. And then if those of us we have seen above average, we go to Walter Payton like, damn, that's a good school.
Exactly.
But that's above my pay grade. We get intimidated. But let me end this subject.
But I want to say
Go
one thing
ahead.
about
Then I
that.
can end the show with this subject. here.
We have to, but we have to be careful for reaching for someone else's standards.
Yeah, that's
We
right.
have to create
Yeah.
a standard for
For our own.
ourselves. That is a problem.
Yeah.
Because it's a cultural disconnect, and we're reaching for standards that someone else has set, which really are substandard. If we're honest about it, they're substandard. Because you know, if you look at the Black Star Project's newsletter, you'll see where the United States fares nation worldwide.
Yeah.
Which
that's
is
true.
not very good at all.
True.
Exactly.
So,
And
you
then
know, we're
what-
intimidated by something that's really not even for us. We need to find our own standard
And we have to
and our
find
standard of
ourselves.
excellence and
Right.
return to what sustained us as a people. That's what we really
then
need
we'll
to
be
focus on.
competitive.
That's
Yeah.
that's exactly.
You were saying.
I said
Tasha?
I understand what she's saying. I think once we have some sort of cultural understanding of who we are, because once you know who you are, you can do anything. You know,
Right.
you'll be able to sit next to an Asian child and won't feel intimidated by them
Exactly.
academically. You'll
That's
be able
the
to sit
problem.
next to a white child and be like, okay, I got this. He's not gonna, you know, because you know who you are. And that's what I was saying, like in the beginning when we were talking. My parents instilled in me who I was. Like I knew myself. So even though my grades were not the best, I still knew I can go to college. I still knew I can go to Duke if I wanted to go to Duke, even though I didn't get accepted there. You know, the possibility was still within my grasp because of I knew who I was. And so we have to have that cultural relevancy within our community first, and then we will be able to, I think, compete, you know, and do things a little differently.
I think some parents, and I'm going to open up a can of worms on the last part of this show here, that some parents do not want their children to succeed. I think subconsciously, Anybody who has children, your child becomes pretty smart real quick. And all of a sudden you got this 5-year-old turn to 10 and 15-year-old, and these folks are big and badder than you. So I think subconsciously some parents really sabotage their children's success. I think sometimes we got to come to grips with it. It's okay if your child becomes smarter than you, goes off to college, leave Chicago and leave. Because I talked to Mom a couple of years ago. I said, you gonna send your baby down to U of I down in Champaign? He said, no, Mark, that's my baby is all I have. I can't sit it down there, and I understand that. But I'm saying, because like I said, we're afraid. I think a lot of mothers and maybe some fathers too are afraid that our children are gonna leave us in the lurch, leave us in the hood where they go off and have this wonderful life. So you think sometimes we gotta check ourselves and say it's okay for our children to get straight A's and grow beyond us and go beyond us. Have you seen it up close? Some people maybe
heard of that. I've never seen it per se,
I've
but
seen it.
I can imagine that it's prevalent. As I take the bus, which I've started doing, I mean, I do notice a lot of this disconnect between parents and their children, or mothers and their children, and it's almost appalling and saddening at the same time. And I do see that we are sort of hindering ourselves, or not us all, but there are a culture of us that are doing that.
Francis, you never done that with your kids, huh? Your children.
No, I want my children, God knows, I want them all to succeed and grow up and go.
No, I've done it. No, I've done it. It's intimidating because you want to control your children, and you feel like if I turn my children over to Francis and Natasha. Go ahead.
I've had 10. I don't know.
Like, they gotta go.
I got 2. Yeah.
The more I had, you have to create a life of your own. You have to create a life with your children and apart from your children, and allow your children to have their own lives. Other than that, it's
but
not
some
a healthy
of these mothers and fathers, I baby my children, they baby them. And your women are famous for babying them boys. I've talked to women, they say, they tell me straight up, I sent my daughter to college. I said, what about your son? Well,
He's not ready.
Right. I mean,
where are the husbands?
Well, we talked about upstairs on Black Star. It's hard for a man to be a man when he's making less money than his wife and girlfriend. And that's we can talk about that in another show. Because my wife, although she makes more money, she's more educated, she allows me to be daddy.
Right.
A lot of women ain't gonna do that, and a lot of men are uncomfortable with the role of being a father because they feel like I ain't got nothing to offer, so I won't offer anything.
Right.
But everybody has something to offer.
And that's another story because I think that's weak. Because, I mean, as a single mother of 3 children, I get tired of being the strength all the time, even though I am and I will. But this week, I feel like parents, in particular mothers, we have to bear so much, and that there's no pass that a man should get when we have to bear the burden that we have to bear. So I'm sorry, that's a weak thing.
Wait, Francis, but Francis, you have to
they
admit.
can just squeal out of the situation.
You have to admit, Francis. Some women, they let these men get off scot-free.
They do.
They
do, but it's about accountability. It's about our children, holding our children accountable, about holding our men accountable, holding our women. That's what we talked about earlier, that there's no checks and balances in our community. Nobody's holding anybody accountable.
Yeah, that's true.
Women that run into the church, they're not holding the minister accountable. The minister's not holding the congregation accountable.
The teachers, the parents
aren't holding the teachers accountable. Teachers aren't holding the parents accountable.
So are you saying that we're swimming or drowning in the river of Egypt, meaning the denial river, right? The river denial, right?
Unchecked.
Yes, unchecked.
And nobody wants to be tied down because they want to do whatever they want to do. Everybody wants to be free and to do whatever or not do, and that's not a responsible.
Let me ask you a dumb question. Last question. If people really want to concerned about improving your neighborhood and the African American community, ending the crime, improving the public schools, they got to call Black Star, right?
Yeah, they should call Black Star. I mean, and they can hook up with us and do something that's going to produce positivity instead of just complaining.
looking for somebody else outside of us to do it for them.
So we got separate responsibility.
Yes, we do.
I don't like that.
It's simple.
I like to blame you or the white man for my ineptness.
Exactly.
I like to blame somebody else because I don't want. If I start blaming somebody else, then I got to take. I don't want to take responsibility. I think a lot of folks are like that, right?
But you're not only giving up responsibility, you're giving up the power.
You giving up
control your own life.
The power. It's the power.
Man, we need some more sisters like y'all. I'm serious. Ladies, y'all great. Y'all the best.